Had a busy offseason with that same goal in mind. Outside of signing Rodgers, Pittsburgh also traded for DK Metcalf and gave a huge extension to TJ Watt. They hope this will be enough to earn their first playoff win in 8 seasons. The Steelers will start their campaign with Rodgers returning to MetLife to take on his former team, the New York Jets. Across from him will be Justin Fields, who's also facing his former team in the Steelers. How about them apples? Mike T joining the party. Great to have you here with us.
Good to be here.
Stephen A., I'll start with you. How fast of a start do the Steelers need to get to this season?
Well, I definitely think they need to get off to a strong start because, when you've got the Jets, the Seahawks, and the New England Patriots in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, and you're going to struggle with them, what the hell are we to believe from that? We're certainly not going to believe over the next 13 to 14 games or so that you're going to be any better if you struggle in those 3 games. So I think it's important that they get off to a strong start. And I think it's good for them psychologically, having Aaron Rodgers as your new quarterback and getting off to a strong start puts them in a position to feel even more confident about him moving forward. This is a team that hasn't won a playoff game since 2016, and we know that, and that's really what this comes down to. We know that the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens are considered the 2 best teams in the AFC North, not necessarily in that order. And so for the Steelers to make some noise, I definitely think it's going to be important for them to start off a little bit strong. You've got Metcalf, you got a new wide receiver, Pickens is gone. You kept some other pieces there. Freiermuth is still there. Warren is still there in the backfield, even though Najee Harris is gone. So you've got some familiar pieces in there, but it all starts with Aaron Rodgers and what he and Metcalf are going to be able to do. And if they start off strong, I think that'll go a long way towards producing a positive season.
Mike T?
Yeah, look, we talked about this yesterday. Look, over the last 3 years, guys, there's only 4 quarterbacks that have a worse QBR than Aaron Rodgers. And we're going to see a litmus test early, guys, when you think about he's going to go up against Sam Darnold and Justin Fields. So obviously a lot of Jet connections here between those 3 quarterbacks. But to me, Aaron Rodgers has to show not what he's done, which is an all-time great, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl winner. It's more about what he's going to do. And again, guys, in the history of pro football, only 2 quarterbacks start a playoff game, 42 or older. So I think he has to get off to a good start to earn the trust and respect of his teammates. And boy, those first 2 games to me are going to be really interesting.
RC?
Yeah, Molly, can I take your seat for a second and ask you a question?
Of course.
How many friends or fans do you believe you have that just never support you? Do you have any people that you consider a friend or a fan that consistently goes against you or says negative things about you or doesn't support you?
I mean, if they're your friend, they're supporting you if they're a real friend.
Yeah, and if they're a fan, a lot of times the fans support too. That's how they become a fan. Because what I can't get is how Stephen A. continues to call himself a Steeler fan and be such a hater. Like, the fact that during his beautiful, eloquent response, he goes, well, everybody believes that the Bengals and the Ravens are better. Who believes that? Are the Baltimore Ravens one of the top teams in the NFL? Absolutely. I'll give you them. But last I checked, a Cincinnati Bengal team that looked extremely similar to this one was sitting at home when the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing in the playoffs last year. So you're telling me that we should expect Mike Tomlin to be walking into training camp and saying the standard is the standard, but we have no standard that we think we can be better than the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that didn't go to the playoffs last year and can't sign their best defensive player? So Stephen A. wants to come on this show and say, oh, wait, I don't really believe that they are that good. I don't really believe that they do have a chance. When all Omar Khan has done as the general manager is continue to add good football players with great NFL pedigree. But no, Mike T can't get this team to be good enough to win. The Pittsburgh Steelers need to start fast because of this. There's always a microscope on what the Pittsburgh Steelers do because unlike what George Pickens said, about the Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers are synonymous with Super Bowls. But in being synonymous with Super Bowls throughout history, the last 10 years they aren't. the last 10 years, they are synonymous with winning playoff games. So there's already going to be a microscope on them. Now you add Aaron Rodgers to that mix. And what Mike T has talked about over and over again, the QBR over the last 3 years. People are going to want to see what Aaron Rodgers has showed up to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why a fast start is needed. A fast start is needed so you don't have to answer the question on whether or not this relationship will work very early on. It's going to be difficult for this team to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship, absolutely. But this is a playoff football team with a playoff roster and a Hall of Fame head coach. And I'm not going to walk into this season doubting what they could be when looking at the roster, especially defensively.
So, Stephen A., are you not a real
Hater.
fan or a real fan?
You know, listen, Ryan's full of it, okay? I'm not letting him get away with that. Here's the thing, it's hilarious, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they ain't won a playoff game since 2016, and I point out that fact, and I'm hating, as opposed to pointing out a fact that is undeniable. The standard that is the standard hasn't been met, and we all know that. We love Mike T. I love Mike T. I think he's a great coach and a great guy. Nothing but love for him. But damn it, I want a playoff victory. I'm a Yankees fan. I want a World Series. I'm a Knicks fan. I want to burp to the final. I want a championship. Man, had in 1973. Me pointing that out ain't hating. Me pointing that out is a frustration that rakes through the core of a fan base. And by the way, Ryan Clark, RC, Mr. Pivot himself, just pivoted like nobody else can, okay? I would like to remind you of the importance of being very, very careful. Ryan, there's footage on Monday Night Football. There's footage on NFL Live. There's footage on Get Up. There's footage on First Take. And I can assure you, I can pull out some clips for you hating, whether it's on Aaron Rodgers or a Pickens or somebody else that was on the Steelers or is on the Steelers. I'm the one that said Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, and I believe in him. I didn't hear you saying that. Let me tell you something right now. Be very, very careful, Ryan Clark. I got clips now. I got clips, and I'll play them. Don't you start with me. Don't you start.
Hey,
come on, man.
I have said nothing but glowing things about
sure?
Aaron Rodgers since
sure
he
about
became
that?
our quarterback.
You sure?
I said since he became our quarterback.
Really? You sure about that?
Nothing but
sure
glowing. Listen, America, listen to me.
That's a technicality.
I believe in Aaron Rodgers.
That's a technicality.
I believe.
Oh yeah. Now you said that. But what did you say the day before he arrived with the Steelers? It's 24 hours earlier. What did you say then?
Hey,
you see what I'm saying? Come on now.
This is not a relationship. No, this is not a relationship where you get to bring up old stuff. See, that's what happened when people aren't getting what they want out the present conversation. They want to bring up old stuff. We got to move on from those past traumas. We need to heal, and in healing, it can allow us to move forward. Listen to Molly, all the work Molly's done on herself. She knows we can't stay stuck with those old gremlins, right? That seem to just rear their ugly head whenever things
You still have some gremlins, Stephen A.
I got it.
Gremlins.
I got it. Ryan Clark is the black football version.